नमस्कारः स्वागतम् अद्य बुधवासरः दिनाङ्कः एकोनविंशः बहुव्रीहि समास प्रकरणम् प्रथमतः मङ्गलाचरणम् रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमू रामाय तस्मै नमः रामान्नास्ति परायणम् परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् रामे चित्तलयः सदा भूतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर राम रामेति रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने श्रीराम नाम वरानन ओं नम इति। अथ श्री माहेश्वर सूत्राणि अ इ उण् रुल् ऋक् ए ओङ् ऐ औच हयवरट् लण् ञ म ङ ण नम् जबैङ् घडदश् जब गडदश् ख फ छ ठ थ च ट थौ ख पै श ष सर हल् इति माहेश्वर सूत्राणि. Okay, we're starting a lesson on bahuvrihi samasa. This is, needless to say, a very important kind of samasa, very common, like very first word of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra uvacha, Dhritam rashtram yena saha, so by whom the kingdom is held, so one holds on to the kingdom. So it's very, very common compound and very important. So, and most of the time the decision or the we have to decipher between the Tatpurusha compound and the Bahuvrihi compound. The most important distinction between these two is that the Bahuvrihi is Anya Pada Pradhana, Anya Pada Pradhana. So the Pradhanyam is the importance. The Bahuvrihi compound as a whole describes a term which is not in the compound. That is the most important aspect of a Bahuvrihi compound. One more time is that if you take we see a lot of examples coming soon, but the most important thing is that if the item being described by the entire compound, if it is in the compound, it is not a Bahuvrihi compound, not a Bahuvrihi compound. We say Raja Purusha, for example, simple compound. I mean, there clearly the Purusha has Pradhanyam, he is in the compound, so this will not be a Bahuvrihi compound. Like Rama Lakshmana, Sukha Dukham, these are all the terms being described in the compound. So Karmadharya compounds, Shura Purusha, Purusha is in the compound. But now when you take a word such as, Sthita Prajnaha, in the compound you only have the words Sthita and Prajnaha. So there, the Janaha or the Yogi or the Purusha is not in the compound. It's because the Sthita is qualifying the Prajna, not the Purusha. So that is the main distinction. Second important thing in Bahuvrihi is that, we'll go through this in detail, is in the Vigraha Vakyam, you will find a Yat Padam. So in the Vigraha Vakyam. So if you have a Vigraha Vakyam available to you and you see a Yat Padam, you see a lot of examples today. So you see, for example, listen, Praptam Udakam Yam. So that village to which the water has reached. So this Yam will be there, or Yena will be there, Yasmai will be there, Yasyaha, Yasya, Yasmin. So you will have a Yat Padam in the Vigraha Vakyam. That is a very, very easy sign to spot the Bahuvrihi compound. Now in the book what we have is that, in the book he has taken this section on, he has put for Anyapadartha Pradhano Bahuvrihi, Anyapada Pradhartha Pradhanaha. Anyapadartha Pradhanaha means that we just talked about that because the word Bahuvrihi itself is a Bahuvrihi. So you can say Bhavyaha, Vrihayaha, Yasyasaha. So one who has a lot of rice, the rich man. So Bahuvrihi itself is a Bahuvrihi. There's nothing in the compound that directly describes the man itself. It says it is much rice, that's all it says, much rice. But one who has much rice is what the compound stands for. So it is Anya Padartha Pradhana Bahuvrihi. Very important thing. That's the test of Bahuvrihi. Because, as I said to you again, many, many times you'll have to distinguish between the Tatpurusha compound and the Bahuvrihi compound. And of course, depending on different context, same compound can go, different ways. For example, if you say Shura Purushaha, that could be also Bahuvri compound. Shuraha Purushaha Yasmin, Sahagramaha. So it can be a village which has, heroic men in there. So the same compound can be the Purusha compound, it can be a Bahuvri compound. Like Mahabahu, same thing. It can mean the strong arm itself, or it can mean the one who has the strong arms. So that's also is you have to keep in mind, depending on the context, depending on what is the compound talking about, who is it talking about. Is it talking about item in the compound or outside the compound? Okay, let's start from the book. So with just introduction. So this 199 is said Anya Padartha Pradhana Bahuvrihi. That's the most important thing for Bahuvrihi. And the word Bahuvrihi itself is a Bahuvrihi. It says Bahuvri compound is always an adjective qualifying a noun expressed or understood, which means it is not in the compound, it is outside the compound. Now this part we will come to later on. He has taken the Samasanta Prakaranam a little bit here in the beginning of the lesson. But let us first go to the next point, which is number section 200. So we'll come back to 199 maybe later on today or the next class. So let us see how to form these compounds first, because then only we can come to the special effects that take place at the end of the compound or for the Pura Padam. So we'll see all those extra details. We'll continue after we figure out how these compounds are formed. So he says that the appositional Bahuvri means that the terms in the compound have Samanam Adhikaranam. They refer to the same item. The terms in the compound refer to the same item. When you say, for example, when you say Dhutarashtraha, Dhutam Rashtram Yena Saha. So Dhutam and Rashtram are talking about the same Rashtram. Dhutam is qualifying Rashtram. It's a adjectival to Rashtram. So this is what's called as this is the most common Bahuvri compound, appositional Bahuvri. The Bahuvri in which both members are in the same case. The appositional Bahuvri is always the contracted form of an adjectival clause. She takes an example here. Is a kind-hearted man. Now, kind-hearted is, English would make it kind-hearted, but in Sanskritam you won't have the ed at the end. So you just have the example he gives here is that Dayalu Hridayaha. So you'll not that ed will not have you there. So that compound still expresses the meaning of the one who has a kind heart. So let's follow the book what it says. Now it says the relative pronoun and the verb has been dropped. So it says the kind-hearted replaces the adjective clause whose heart is kind. This is the whose, the yat padam in the Vigraha Vakyam. Always spot that immediately. Immediately if you see a yat padam in the Vigraha Vakyam, think Bahuvri right away. That's the best way to learn Bahuvris. Is like any compound. So you look at good commentaries and Tikar, Bhashyam, whatever, and see which are the compounds that they have take the Vigraha Vakyam given there, and then you can back out to see what kind of compound it is. And as you get more and more practice, you can do something on your own. So that is this Yat Padam, whose heart is kind. The relative pronoun and the verb have been dropped. When the verb doesn't even have to be there because he's put the Vigraha Vakyam like Yasya, Dayalu Hridayam Yasya. You can put Bhavati. Normally you will not see the Bhavati in the Vigraha Vakyam. There will be no Kriya Padam in the Vigraha Vakyam. Because remember, if you see a Kriya Padam in the Vigraha Vakyam, you have to go for the Upapada Samasaha. Like Kumbhakaraha, Kumbham Karoti ti Kumbhakaraha. So this is not the place to look for a Tingantam Padam in the Vigraha Vakyam. That is for Upapada Samasas, not over here. So in the book though he has put like in brackets, normally you will not see as Bhavati. It's understood. It's always going to be same. Asti Bhavati Vidyate. So there's no need to put Bhavati over here. So you will not see this in the Vigraha Vakyam. So you can ignore this. But since you put like that, you see the relative pronoun, the Yat Padam, and the verb, there will not be any verb anyway. Even if it is there, it will be dropped in the compound. So this part I think you can remove. This part has been dropped. The predicate has been put before the subject. Okay, the one thing about Bahuvrihi is that so far we've been using these two set of rules in Tatpurusha compounds or in other places. We have used this rule about Prathama Nirdishtam Samas Upasarjanam followed by Upasarjanam Purvam. That is, do the Purva Nipata Vyavastha. Purva Nipataha means to get which one we take the Purva Nipataha, which one we place first in the compound. But what happens in Bahuvri is that, because the sutra we're going to see shortly is this Anekamanya Padarthe, Anekam, Prathamantam, Samasyate. So, number of terms compound together to form Bahuvri compound. So one more thing of Bahuvri compounds is more than two terms can compound to form Bahuvri compound. So one must remember, in Tatpurusha compound it's not possible. Only two terms will compound. But here, more than two. For the most part, only two will be there, but more than two can compound. Anyway, coming back to my point is that because Anekam is Prathama Nirdishtam in this sutram, Anekamanya Padarthe. So that means that a number of terms will get, in fact, all the terms, as a general rule, will get the Upasajana Sanya by our favorite rule, 1243, which is Prathama Nirdishtam Samasa Upasarjanam. So then this Purva Nipata Vyavastha has no meaning. Atra upyogi nasti. Atra upyogi is upayogini nasti vyavastha. Upayogini nasti. There is no use of that. So then what do we do? How do we know what to put first in the Bahuvri compound? And the main rule there is that, we'll see this all in detail later on, is Saptami Visheshane Bahuvrihau. Saptami Visheshane Bahuvrihau. In a Bahuvri compound, that which is Saptamyantam, or which is the Visheshanam, will go prior. That is the main rule. There's some other rules below that also. There are three rules below that. But this is the one which is Saptami Visheshane Bahuvrihau. So that is the one which will tell us that the Visheshanam goes first. So this is, by the way, Saptami Visheshane is Prathama Dvivachanam. Prathama Dvivachanam. So Saptami Visheshane is the nominative dual. So these are the terms which go first in the Bahuvri compound. So that's 2235. Because we cannot use Upasarjanam Purvam because they all have the Upasarjana Sanya. There's no use. That's why Panini has to put this. Just like we had in the Dvandva Samasa. If you recall, Dvandva Samasa in Chartya Dvandva, which is coming right below that later on here, same situation. This Anekam was coming there also. Dvandva compound also, we can take more than two terms simultaneously and form a compound. You know, like Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugnaha. All five can be taken together. Ramascha, Lakshmanascha, Bharatascha, Shatrugnaschcha. Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugnaha. So that is all of them. And then we had the specific rules. Dvandve Ghi we had that time. Ajad Yadantam we had Alpachtaram. So Bahuvri is same thing. We have these four rules: 22, 35, 36, 37, 38. So within that, the most important one is this Saptami Visheshane Bahuvri. How? And the most important is Visheshanam. Visheshanam goes first. Now we'll come back to this in detail, but that's what the book is saying, that the predicate has been put before the subject. That is the Saptami Visheshane Bahuvri. How? And the combination of both results in an adjectival compound, kind-hearted. As a general rule, the Bahuvri is an adjectival compound. It has to be, it's qualifying something outside. So, and also the general rule, the ending term in a Bahuvri compound will be a noun. So when you see a noun, which is in a way being converted to an adjective, that is the essence of Bahuvri. You say Dhritarashtraha. The Rashtram was a noun. It has turned into an adjective to the Raja. Same in all these compounds, going to happen like that. He's going to say in the book also, you will see here, in Sanskritam, that adjective must agree with the noun it qualifies. Always has to be. Whatever is the lingam, vachanam, and vibhakti of the visheshanam, of the visheshya, that has to be the same thing of the visheshanam. So vishesham and visheshanam have to have the same. Although the second member of the adjective is a noun, it loses its value as a noun since it forms an adjective with the predicate. There's also one easy way to spot a Bahuvri compound. If you see a term, for example, in the neuter, which has now become, like example I gave, Sthita Prajnasya Ka Bhasha. The word Prajna is a feminine noun. Now how it became Sthita Prajna? So that immediately signals to you that this noun is now losing its inherent gender and now changing its gender because it's not being adjective to something else. So that's also a very quick way to spot the Bahuri compound. Of course, now if the term happens to be the same gender, you will not be able to tell. Like Vimudhatma. Vimudhatma, already Atman is already masculine, and the Purusha is qualifying also as masculine, so it will not work. It will only work when the noun at the end is a different gender from the noun that it's qualifying. That is qualifying, because the noun at the end of the compound is a different gender from the one it is, let's say Praptasthanaha. It's a simple compound. Praptam sthanam yena saha. Now sthanam is a neuter noun. The fact that it became Praptasthanaha, you should know right away this is probably a Bahuri compound. It will not change gender. So this is a very important point that he makes here, is that although the second member of the adjective is a noun, it loses its value as a noun since it's formed adjective with the predicate, and that's also an easy way to spot Bahuri compounds. You see a change in gender. Something which was in a different gender is now, losing its noun value, and because it's qualifying something in a different gender, it is now being declined in that gender of whatever it's qualifying. So this is very, very important point. Again, this will only work if the term being qualified and the noun at the end of the compound are different genders. If it's not, it will not help you pick out this one, but it's still good to keep in mind. Now, application in Sanskritam, there is unlimited scope for formation of Bahuri compounds. I mean, there's this large. In fact, this is one way to, people say this is difficult to express things in Sanskritam, but if you know Bahuris well, it is, it really increases your power to form expressions very quickly. If you say, for example, this is someone whose mind is confused, you can quickly make a simple Bahuri compound, Bhranta Chittaha, Bhranta Chittoyam. He is one whose mind is confused. So very, very quickly you can take the whole clause and make it a simple, for example, if you simply want to say, I am very happy, I am satisfied. You say, Prapta Santoshoham. So I am one who has obtained happiness. So you can take a lot of these clauses and make it into these very powerful compounds. So this does increase the value of of your speaking, composing, expression, because that's what he means here by there's a lot of scope for using these compounds in speaking. You can use variety of formations, because as I said, we can look at it in details. We see it is in the Vigraha Vakyam, you can use any vibhakti except the Prathama vibhakti for the Yat Padam. You can use Yena, you can use Yasmai, you can use Yasya, you can use Yasmin. So a lot of expressions can be given here. Okay, let's look at a simple one that is given here. So Dayalu Hridayam Yasya. See, normally you see it like this. Dayalu should go before Hridayam normally. So Dayalu Hridayam Yasya Saha. You might just say Dayalu Hridayam Yasya, because even in prose, normally the adjective is Dayalu should go before Hridayam. By the way, the word Dayalu is not today's topic, but this is formed by the Sutram 32158. I didn't put it in the document, but the word Dayalu itself is formed from the Sutram 32158. 32158. Says that Spruhi, Grihi, Pati, Dayi, Nidra, Tandra, Shadjabhyascha, Alucha. So this is in the, I think, the Tachilya Adhikaraha. So Akvehe. See, this is in the Akvehe Tachil Tadharmatat Sadhukarishu. So one who's habitually kind. Anyway, this is not today's topic, but if you want to know how the word Dayalu was formed, it's 32158. The Dhatu Daya is in there. So Daya takes the Pratya Alucha. 32158. That's how the word Dayalu is formed. If you want to quickly look at the vritti here, 32158. 32158 says that Spruha Ivsayam Graha Grahane. This is the one. Daya Dana Gati Rakshaneshu. says that etebhyaha tachiladishu kartrishu. So one who habitually does that, or does it well, does it naturally, alushpratya bhavati. So alu, dayalu, who is habitually kind. So anyway, that's just on the side. So you get dayalu hridayam yasya. The typo in the book, this should be yasya. Obviously, the typo in the book. And naraha is understood. They may not even mention it, or they might mention the Vigraha Vakyam. But the core Vigraha Vakyam is Dayalu Hridayam Yasya. Relative pronoun and the verb are dropped. I think there is really no verb. You can forget about the verb. So this verb is dropped. The predicate is placed before the subject. That is the Saptami Visheshane Bahuvrihau. Dayalu Hridayaha. Dayalu Hridaya is Prajpadikam. Dayalu Hridayaha will be the Prathama Eko. Right here you can see Hridayam is a neuter noun. The fact that it became Dayalu Hridayaha, immediately you know this is probably a Bahuvri compound. Hridayam cannot just change its gender like that unless the whole compound is now adjectival to something else. So Dayalu Hridayaha. Now he says that although Hridayam is a neuter noun, it has now become part of an adjective qualifying Naraha. So we will have Dayalu Hridayo Naraha. Hridayo Naraha. Okay, we'll go to the document in a second to see how Panini does all these things. But let's just read from the book and see what he says. Now, similarly, Dayalu Hridayam Yasyaha Nari become Dayalu Hridaya Nari. So here, of course, you have to Ajadyata stop by 414. Anubandhalobha Chutuhalantyam Akasame Dirghaha Dayalu Hridaya Nari. So, and then you'll get a lot of this if you chant any of these Devi Stotram, like, Lalita Sahasranama Stotram, any of these, you'll get a lot of Bahubri compounds. You can practice those over there. Now, if it's a neuter, Dayalu Hridayam Yasya Tat Mitram. In this case, as I said, Hridayam is already Hridaya is a neuter noun. It's qualifying, the whole compound is qualifying a neuter noun. So in this case, unfortunately, you will not see the Linga Parivartanam. You will not see a change in gender. So this is a Bahuri compound. So basically, if there is a gender change, it is going to be Bahuri compound. But doesn't mean that every Bahuri compound is a gender change. Because like in this case, Hridaya was a neuter, Mitram is neuter. So they both, Dayalu Hridayam, Mitram. Okay, before we go to this point number 2, let's go to the document, see, in the Ashtadhyayi, what we just saw from the book, how in the Ashtadhyayi it is done in the Ashtadhyayi. So, in the Ashtadhyayi, there is this Adhikaraha. It says, Shesho Bahuvrihi, which is 23. And there are these 5 rules in that Adhikaraha, these 5 rules. Which is Anekamanya Padartha is the main rule. This is the main rule, Anekamanya Padartha. Then Sankhya Vyaya Sanna Dura Adhika Sankhyaha Sankhyaye. Then Dignamanya Antarale. Dignamani, sorry. Dignamanya Antarale. Dignamanya Antarale. Dignamani Antarale. Like we have to express an intermediate direction. Dignamani Antarale. Then Tatra Tenedam iti sarupe. Then Tena Sahiti Tulya Yoge. In the book we are going to see this one. This Tena Sahiti Tulya Yoge. We are going to see this one. And in the end we might talk about these other 2 or 3 also. Let us see if we have time. So these are the 5 rules in the Adhikaraha. Which is Anekamanya Padartha is the most important rule, and that has some Vartikams on it also. So the Anekamanya Padartha along with the 2 or 3 Vartikani which are there, that is most important. Then Sankhya Vyasanna Dura Adhika Sankhyaha Sankhyaye is, we can take some examples of that. So we can say, for example, Adura Dashaha means approximately 10 men. Adura Dashaha Purushaha is close to 10, approximately 10. So that we can use that kind of usage, much less common than this one, but it is a specific usage. Then Dingnamanyantarale, the names of directions can be used to convey the intermediate direction, like north, west, south, east, and so on. Then Tatra Tene Damiti Sarupe, this is less common, And then tena saheti, this is also very common, 1, 2 to 28. Tena saheti tulya yoge. Okay, let's look at what it is. So these are the only rules that are used to authorize a Bahuvri compound. These 5. Sutra Panchakam. Sutra Panchakam. Only these 5 rules. And most of them will go in this first one. Anekam Anyapadarthe. Now, as I said to you many times, any compound in this language, you have to get authority from 2.1 or 2.2 Ashtanjai. It's like you have to go to get your permit from the municipality, township. You have to go to building number 2, first floor or second floor to get a permit to form a compound in this language. So let us look at this adhikara now. So what does adhikara say? Shesho bahuvrihi. Shesho bahuvrihi. Shesho bahuvrihi. Adhikara, Bhattoji says, adhikaro yam. This is adhikara. Says, what does he say? Dvitiya shita tita patita gata tyasta prapta pannehi ityadina yasya trikasya subvibhaktehe ityarthaha vishishya samasa noktaha sasheshaha pratamantam ityarthaha. Okay, now in the Ashtadhyayi we have seen when we studied Tatpurusha compounds, just to refresh your memory, Tatpurusha Adhikara goes from 2122 up to 2222, and there we saw this Dvitiya, Shitati, Tapadita, Gata, Tyasta, Ityadi. Then we saw Tritiya over here coming. So Tritiyantam Padam, you can say that Samarthena Subantena Saha Samaschate Tatpurusha Samaso Bhavati. So these all is what we saw. So Dvitiyantam can compound with another related Subantam in these with these predicted pronouns, etc., to form a Tatpurusha compound. And Tritiya also can compound with this, etc. So we had Chaturthi, we had Panchami, we had Saptami Shaundaihi. Of course, later on we had this whole Adhikara of the Shashti coming in 228. Shashti came here. But Prathama was not mentioned. Prathama was not mentioned. So what Bhattoji is saying here is that Dvitiya ityadina yasya trikasya subvibhaktehe vishishya samaso noktaha. So Panini never said that, Prathamaya. So Prathamantam padam. So Samarthena Subantena Samaschate. He never said that. So that Prathamantam is what was not specifically Vishishya Samasanoktaha. Even though we had, because why Vishishya? Because Panini did not use the word Prathama. Now we have looked at the Karmadharya compound, right? Like Shura Purusha, we can say. Shurascha so Purushascha. Now there you can say, well, Prathamantam is there. How come that doesn't count? But the word Prathama was not used over there. Prathama was not used because when we defined the Karmadharya compound, we went to, I think it is 1 to 48. No, it's not 1 to. It is 1 to 42. Sorry. Tatpurushaha Samanadhikaranaha Karmadharyaha. We are also Tatpurusha compound in which the terms are the same, Samanam Adhikaranam, then that's the Karmadharya compound. That's all Panini said. And then after that, Panini started this Adhikaraha of this Samanadhikarane. So Purvakalika Sarvajarat Purana Navakevalaha Samanadhikarane. No. But never did Panini say Prathamaya. It is not said. So that is why this word Vishishya. So specifically Vishishya, specifically, it was not said Prathamaya. So now this Trika is a technical term by Trikam. This Trikam is set of three. Set of three. That means that it is a these sets of three are these vibhaktis, because you have in this if you read. So this Trikam is a technical term used in Mahabhashyam, etc., to refer to these vibhakti endings. Because it says Tingas Trini, Prathama Madhyamottama, and then Supaha. So these go in sets of three, like Su or Jas, or Chas, and so on. So Trikam in this case, it could mean the Ting or the Sup set of three. But since we're talking about Samasa right now, Sup Supadhikara is going down. So the Sup only we're talking about right now. because as a general rule, tingantam na samasyate, so trikasya means subhibhaktehe. So of these, so pratama is in sets of three, su, aujas, vitya, am, aushas, and so on. So vishishya samaso noktaha, sah shesha, that is shesha. And then he gives a nutshell, prathamantam ityartaha. So anekam prathamantam samasyate. So number of terms which are in pratama vibhakti, they compound. And anekam anya padarthe. So anekam, because see now, so this adhikara sets the tone for the shesha bahuvrihi, means prathamantam ityartaha. The Mahabhashyam says, this is from the Mahabhashyam, we're just typing before the class, yasya trikasya subhibhaktehe anuktaha samasaha sasheshaha kasya cha anuktaha, which has not been said, prathamayaha noktaha. Prathamantam is not said. So the prathama word was not used for a compound. This is the Mahabhashyam. Okay, so that is the gist of this meaning, word shesha. Shesha bahuvrihi is prathamantam. And then comes the next sutram, which is the most important sutram in this adhikara, is anekam anya padarthe. Anekam prathamantam anya padarthe. Anya padarthe means, this is tattva bodhini, samasyamana padatiriktasya padasyarthe. So it is in the meaning, it is conveying a padam, the meaning of a padam, which is atiriktam, which is other than the terms which are being compounded. So anya padarthe means samasyamana padatiriktasya. Atirikta means other than the padani which are going in the compound. Samasyamana pada atirikta, padatiriktasya padasyarthe. Then vartamanam va samasyate sabahuvrihi. Va means pakshe vakyam api sambhavati. You can also of course say mahantau bahu yasya saha, also say mahabahu. So that is what it is. One more time, anekam anya padarthe. This is the main sutram performed bahuvrihi compound. Anekam prathamantam. Why prathamantam? Because we just saw this adhikara of shesha bahuvrihi. Prathama was not mentioned by Panini so far. Dvitiya and Dvitiya, so Dvitiya, Tritiya, all were mentioned, not Prathama. So anekam prathamantam. Anya padarthe. Vartamanam. Vasamasya bahuvrihi. Now this whole thing has been put in a nice simple standard by Bhattoji, and this Siddhanta Kaumudi says that aprathama vibhaktyarthe bahuvrir iti samanadhikarananam iti cha phalitam. So this is in the gist of this. Phalitam means that is the resulting meaning. So in a nutshell, what it means is that aprathama vibhaktyarthe. Now the terms which are compounding here are going to be in prathama. Basically, let's take a quick example so we can appreciate this. Praptam udakam yam saha praptodako gramaha. It is a village to which yam, water has reached. Now this yam will not be prathamantam, because if you make prathamantam, it becomes karmadhariya compound. So if you say praptam udakam yat, it will become just udakam. It will not qualify, it will not be anya padarthe. So when anya padarthe means that it will have to be aprathama vibhaktyarthe bahuvrihi. So this will be, you say praptam udakam yam, you say yena, yasmai, yasyaha, yasya, yasmai. If you make it prathama, then it will start going with the same term which is in the compound. It will not be anya padarthe. You can say shuraha, purushaha, yaha, saha. If you make it like that, then this is purusha himself. Then that yat padam is not qualifying somebody else. You're just pointing to the word in the compound itself. That will not be bahuri compound anymore. So in the vigraha vakyam, the vibhakti of the yat padam should not be prathama. If it's prathama, it will not be anya padarthe. So it will be a dvitiya, tritiya, chaturthiya and so on, not prathama. Otherwise, it will no longer be anya padarthe. If you say dushta, purusha, yaha, saha, then there's no bahuvrihi. So it's pointing to the same purusha again, which is the compound. That's why Bhattoji says that अप्रथमा विभक्त्यर्थे. अप्रथमा विभक्त्यर्थे बहुव्रीहि iti. This is the first part. This is one part, बहुव्रीहि iti. And then the second part is this one, samanadhikarananam iti. So the terms which are in the compound will have samanadhikaranam. And they will be talking about something which is in the Vigraha Vakyam will be apratama vibhakti. That will not have pratama vibhakti. So these are the two parts which we saw so far. Is that in the compound the term will be, prathamantam, anekam prathamantam. Says that. So they will have samadhikaranam, the terms in the compound. And the term which is pradhanyam, which is outside in the Vigraha Vakyam, it will not have pratama vibhakti. So that is the gist of this. The phalitam means the gist of Bahuvri compounds. So one more time, is that you will have a number of two or more terms. Well, for the most part, only two for us right now, but they can have more also. Two or more terms which are going to have samadhikaranam. Means they will be, in the Vigraha Vakyam will be prathama vibhakti for them. And they will be talking about, or they will be designating, or meaning will be anya padarthe, means clearly the Vigraha Vakyam, that vibhakti of that padam will not be prathama. Apratama vibhaktyarthe bahuvri iti. So these are two things. Apratama vibhaktyarthe bahuvrihi iti, samadhikarananam iti, chaphalitam. Remember this one vakyam for bahuvri compound. This is the gist of these last two rules, which is shesho bahuvrihi and anekamanya padarthe. So this is the one vacuum. Let's take some examples and become clearer. So first one is we're going to take in the, this is what's in the book also, same thing in the book is coming here. So he's taking the same example, very similar examples. So he's taking the Vityantam, Tityantam, Chaturthyantam, Panchamyantam, and the Shashtyantam and Saptamyantam. So this is the same thing which you're going to see in the book in this point number 2. Let's look at it from the Siddhanta Kaumudi. Praptam udakam yam. So again the Vigraha Vakyam has the yat padam. Second thing is that there is a gender change. The gender change. Maybe I should put this in document here. Okay, note two things over here. So note two things. Note. So we'll put these notes over here. So first note that I should put is that okay. First note to put is that this. Okay, I'll put right here. This thing is not. Is that the okay? The Vigraha Vakyam is the Yat Padam. Vigraha Vakyam, I mean you can see it on the board, but I'm just putting it here. Vigraha Vakyam has the Yat Padam. Has the Yat Padam. Yad Padam, which is not ending in Prathama. Just the first thing to note. That there is a Yat Padam, is not ending in the Prathama Vibhakti. That's first thing to note. So you can see that the Vigraha Vakyam is Praktam Udakam Yam. Okay. The second thing is that Udakam has lost its noun value. It is now qualifying something else. So see, Udakam does not have Pradhanyam anymore. Udakam has lost Pradhanyam. It is no longer the Vakyam. Sorry. Thank you, Indu. Oh, Vakyam. Yes, thank you. Typo here. Vakyam. Okay. Vakyam. Sorry. Udakam has lost the Pradhanyam. This is how you try to, attack these Bahuvri compounds. Pradhanyam. Lost Pradhanyam. It is not the item, indicated by the compound. Otherwise, you will have to make it a Tatpurusha compound. Okay? And the third thing is that, of course, later in the second thing, there is a gender change. The gender change. So Udakam was a neuter noun. Now you got Prapto Udakaha. So it's a gender change. That is the three things. Now, rest of it is straightforward. So the Vigraha Vakyam has the Yat Padam, which is not ending in a Prathama. Udakam, the Uttara Padam Udakam, which is a noun. Then the noun Udakam has lost Pradhanyam. It is now become an adjective Pradhanyam. The compound becomes an adjective. It is not the main item indicated by the compound. This is a gender change. Now, so if you notice these things, if you look at this compound, Praptodako Gramaha, I'll put one more point over here, which you're going to see in detail later on. The Nishthantam Padam is the Purva Padam. Is also a hint for trying to spot the Bahuvri compound. This will not work all the time, but if it is, the Nishthantam Padam, Taktavatu Nishtha. So Nishthantam Padam. Nishthantam Padam. Nishthantam Padam is the Purva Padam. Because we're going to see this in next class probably, is the Purva Padam. So this is the second thing. And this is reference to Sutram Nishtha in a Bahuvri compound. The Nishthantam Padam will be the Purva Padam. Remember, Sutram Nishtha comes Ashtadhyan in two different places. It's used in 3.2.102 when Nishtha is used in the sense of past tense, like Kritam, Bhuktam, Gatam, Drishtam, etc. But this is the same Sutram Nishtha. Similarly, same wording of the Sutram, which is used to tell us that in the Bahuvri compound, the Nishthantam will be the Purva Padam. So that's another way to quickly try to spot this may be a Bahuvri compound. So it's left 236. So these are varieties of things that you can look at to try to judge, will this be a Bahuvri compound? Now, because this could have been a Karmadharya compound. So water which has reached Prapta Mudakam could be. But now when you see the gender change, Prapto the Ko, Prapto the Kaha, now it can no longer be a Karmadharya compound now. It will never become Prapto the Kaha. So that settles the issue in this case, so really clearly. And if you have the Vigraha Vakyam at hand, it's really easy, because you see the Yat Padam there. It is not in Prathama Vibhakti. So you can now also get a handle, this is not a Karmadharya compound. It's not the Purusha compound, it's a Bahuvri compound. So Vigraha Vakyam is a Yat Padam, it is not ending in Prathama Vibhakti. And now Udakam has lost its Pradhanyam. It is not the mere indicated by the compound, it's the whole compound is now an adjective. There's a gender change in this case, and the Nishthantam Padam is the Pura Padam. Now to finish off this form is very straightforward. You say Prapta Su, Udaka Su, and it says Anekamanya Padarthe, and Yadak Adhika Shesha Bahuvrihi. And then we saw the Saptami Visheshane Bahuvrihav. So in a Bahuvri compound, the qualifying terms goes first. Udakam is the noun. Praptam is qualifying that will go first. And then as usual you do the Samastam Padam, the Samudaya gets the Sanya of Pratipadikam, not Padam as yet, but you get the Pratipadika Sanya by Krit Samasascha Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho, and then Adgunaha Praptodaka. So there's this, after this point there's nothing really special. I mean, it's going to be very straightforward. So we now repeat these steps over and over again. You just bring in the Prathama Vibhakti here. Maybe it doesn't have to be in the Ekavachanam. Could be Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam also. Prathama Vibhakti is here, and then do the Supluk and the Sandhikaryam. So this is going to be so this part is really easy for Bahuvri compounds. Only thing is that you have to pin down the Vigraha Vakyam clearly. And that depends on the context. Vigraha Vakyam depends on the context. You cannot know what the Vigraha Vakyam is until you know the context. So that is the tricky part in Bahuvri, is that you don't know what you do know. You do know a few things, that the terms inside the compound are going to have Samanam Samadhikaranam. And you do know that in the Vigraha Vakyam there will be Yat Padam, which will not have Prathama Vibhakti. But now, what Vibhakti it has, we don't know. And first of all, is this even a Bahuvri compound? That also you don't know. In this case, you do know. Linga Parivartanam, you saw the gender change. Otherwise, you would not know. Okay, let's see the next example. So this was for Dvitya Vibhakti. So Praptam Udakam Yam Sah Gramaha. So Prapta Udako Gramaha. Now similarly, Udho Ratho Yena So udharatho nadvan, udharatho nadvan, udharatho nadvan. So it is a bull who has carried the chariot, who has pulled the chariot. So udha, by the way, udha is from dhatu vah. This is the nishthantam padam dhatu vah. Same thing, look at nishthantam padam going the first padam in the compound. Now udha, that's not today's topic, but from dhatu vah at the pratyakta. So udha means carried. What happens here is that, let me see, can somebody give me the steps in the class? You want to try and do the steps for udha? Udha. So
Hodaha?
Yeah, so vaf plus pratyakta. So we can just put some sutras here. So 32102, that is the sutra of nishtha itself. And of course, anubandha lopaha. Then in nishedha by 7 to 10, because this is a ekach upadeshana dattat. So now we got vafta, then hodha, as you said. So 8 to 31 hodha. And then after that, so we have vadta. Now what's the next one?
Saprasarana.
Jashastator dhodha. Right? So actually you're right.
Where
Right,
do
I'm sorry.
Saprasarana?
No, we are actually even before that.
Before this year,
Yes, I'm sorry. So this vachi sapi yajadinam kiti. Yes. We need that one first. Vachi sapi yajadinam kiti. And then we'll have to do the sampasarana cha. Puraprayoho ekadesha. Now we got ta. Now we can do hodha. We can do the tripadikanyam. So we got ta. Now the next step is
Jashastator dhodaha.
Jashastator dhodaha. The chaturtha varnaha, because that dakara chaturtha varnaha. That's following that we have a takara. So jashastator dhodaha. So we'll get urdha we got so far. Then next one.
Next one is going to be
Shtunashtu.
right. Shtunashtu.
So now we got urdha.
Drolope.
So now dhodhe lopaha. Dhodhe lopaha. So now we got udha. Now dralope purvasi dirgho naha. So just put this, just practice these rules. Thank you. So first of all, dhatu was vah, and then the pratyakta was used in the bhutarthe, then anubandha lope ta, in nishedha by ekach upadeshunudattat. Then we got sampasaranam vachi sapi yajadinam kiti. Yajadi is the last dhatus in the 9 dhatus in the bhvadiganaha. Dhatu vah is in that list. We got sampasaranacha, we got uhta, we got hodhaha, urdha, then jashastator dhodhaha, we got urdha. After that, shtunashtu, urdha, then dhodhe lopaha. Dhakar is lopaha, dhakare pare. So you got udha, then dha lope purvasi dirghonaha. The prior ukara became ukaraha, then udha. Anyway, so udho ratho yena saha udratho nadvan. So he's a bull who has carried the chariot, who has conveyed the chariot. So yena, by whom? So in this case there was no linga parivartanam. Ratha was already masculine, is qualifying nadvan, anadvan which is also masculine, so we will not see that. So among these things which we are looking for the indications, yeah, the Vigraha Vakyam has the Yat Padam, that we do have, which is not Prathamantam, because it says Yena. Second thing is that the Ratha has lost Pradhanya. Ratha is no longer the Pradhana Padam, because it is, we are not talking about the chariot, we're talking about the bull who has conveyed the chariot. But Linga Parivartanam we will not have, because it just so happened that the Ratha and the Anadavan, Anaduf Pratipadikam have the same gender. But we can also look at Nishthantam Padam is a Pura Padam. So watch out for that. So that also points to you that this could be Bahuri compound. It could be Karmadharya compound also, it could be Bahuri compound. So that also, because in many Bahuri compounds, Nishthantam Padam is a Pura Padam. Gita, for example, in Gita, Vigata Spruhaha, Chitta Prajnaha, so many of these, so many are there. So, Udharato Nadvan. That's Vityantam Yat Padam. So, Yena. Now, you can say this, Uparhataha Pashur Yasmai Saha. Uparhata Pashur Rudraha. Same thing here, Uparhataha means offered. Dhatu, Uparu, Upaharaha. Uparu is to offer. So, he is Rudraha, to whom the Balihi, Pashuhu, has been offered, unto whom it has been offered, unto whom. Same idea, we're not talking about the Pashu itself, we're talking about the deity, the God to whom it has been offered. So Yat Padam in the Vigravakyam, not Prathamantam, but look at the terms which are compounding. The compounding terms in the Vigravakyam, they are Prathamantam. Uparataha, Pashuhu, same thing here, Udhaha, Rathaha. So these are always going to be like this. They're going to have the ending in Prathama Vibhakti and they have Samadhikaranam. Of course, Ratha is the Samadhikaranam. So this Udha, the chariot which was conveyed, the Pashuhu, the beast which was offered. So same thing here. So these are terms which are compounding. They'll have Prathama Vibhakti and they'll have Samadhikaranam, while the Pradhana Padam will be it will be indicated by the Yat Padam in the Vigravakyam, that will not be Prathamantam. So it is under the God unto whom the beast was offered. Uparhita Uparhitaha Pashu Uparhita Pashu Rudraha. Of course, there's Sandhi going on here. It's Pashuhu. So you get Sisisho Ruho. Then you get the Anubandha Lopaha, then Rori. Then same thing, Rori, and because we just said Dode Lopaha, so same thing, Rori. Then Dhalope Purva Siddhir Ghonaha. So same thing happening there. That is so that's the Chaturthyantam. Then you can say Udhrutaha, Odanaha, Yasyaha sa, Udhruta Odana sthali. Now here you have Linga Parivartana. Because Odanaha was taken as a masculine noun, and then says this has now become a feminine, become Odana. So Odana. So now that you can see that is going to be a Bahuvri compound, because how will the gender change like that? So that is that's indication that this is going to be a Bahuvri compound. Same thing here, the terms compounding, Udhrita. Udhru is to take, to lift up, to take out. So it is the sthali, the plate from which the rice has been removed, has been taken out. So it is a plate from which the rice has been taken out. So again, the compounding terms, Udhritaha, Odanaha. The Samadhikaranam, Udhrita is qualifying Odanaha, and they are in Prathama Bhakti in the Vigravakyam. This one is Yasyaha Yat Padam in the Vigravakyam. It is not Prathama Bhakti. And you see a gender change here. Odana became Odana. Udhrita Odana. Then of course Vruddhi Rechi has been done. Vruddhi Rechi, that's obvious. Vruddhi Rechi has been Sandhik. So you have to do Sandhikaram. There's no way out for that. Sandhikaram has to be done. Otherwise there's nothing special. Udhrita plus Su, Odana plus Su. Same thing, you do the Sattva Vivisheshana Bahuvrihav, then Supluk, and after that Sandhikaram. Udhrita Odana Sthali. So this one you can immediately spot gender change. So this is the Panchami Bhakti being used here. Shashti, the next one, this is feminine, because Sthali was feminine. You have to use the appropriate gender also. Depending on the Pradhana Padam, whatever gender it has, Yat Padam will take the same gender. Then here, for the Shashtyantam, same thing, very famous, Pita Nyambarani Yasya Saha. Of course, this will be the most common case, Shashtyantam, because that is, the most common, Bhakti and most common example is the Pita Nyambarani Yasya Saha Harihi. So he is Harihi, if you're talking about two, you can say Pite Ambare Yasya Saha, whose upper and lower garment are yellow. So one who has yellow garments. Pitanyambarani Yasya Saha, Pitambaro Harihi. Here also you see the Linga Parivartanam. Ambara was a neuter noun, become Pitambaraha. So always check Pitani, Prathama Bhuvachanam, Ambarani, Prathama Bhuvachanam, and they are both Samadhikaranam, they are in the compound. Yasya is yat padam, different vibhakti, not prathama. And then you see Ambara has lost its pradhanyam, it's now an adjective to Harihi, so it became Pullinga Shabdaha, Ramavatta, Pitambara. And the last one is similar thing, Viraha Purushaha Yasmin. It's a good example. Now, Vira Purushako Gramaha. Okay, so this one, this Kap Pratyaha, we're going to see in the next class, maybe class after. This is the Samasanta Pratyaha, Kap. Samasanta Pratyaha, Kap is coming from this is the last 10 rules. This Adhikara of Pratyaha Parashcha. So when all these Adhikaras end at the end of chapter 4, the Pratyaha, Parashcha, Nya Pratipadikat, Tadhitaha, Samasantaha, all these adhikaras come to an end at the end of 5th chapter. And the last 10 rules is the 51, it starts from here, is Uraf Prabhuttibhyah Kap, Pratya Kap. This is also a very good way to spot a Bahuri compound. See the Kap Pratya at the end comes in Gita. Idante na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya kadachana. Na chashushrushrave vachyam, na chamanyobhyasuyati. Pratya Kap comes at the end in the Bhagavad Gita. Idante na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya kadachana. So here it is. Idante na tapaskaya, na tapaskaya. A tapaska, one who doesn't have a tapas. We're going to see how to form this compound shortly, but look at this tapaskaya. Idante na tapaskaya. You can see sastrikaha, one who's with his wife. Sastrikaha janaha, some who's one with his wife. So he had this powerful compound. You can express the whole clause. He has come with his wife. Sastrikaha agataha. He's come with his wife. So na tapaskaya, this Kap Pratyaha. This Kap Pratyaha 5-4. This is another way to watch out. And the reason why this Kap Pratyaya is so popular, we're going to see in detail later on, is there are these 10 rules for the Kap Pratyaha, from Uraf Prabhuttibhyah Kap up to the end of this Padaha. Within that, the first 3 rules are the Vidhi Sutrani. Kap has to be used. Then the Vikalpaha, Sheshad Vibhasha. This is the most important rule, that any Bahuri compound remaining, for which there is no Samasanta has not been prescribed, that will take Kap Vibhasha. So basically any Bahuri compound for which a Samasanta Pratyaya has not already been prescribed, that can take Kap optionally. That is why this Kap, the poets love this Kap, because you can use it optionally, so you can always have an extra letter when you need it in the Kavyam. So the Kap Pratyaha, because Shesha Vibhasha is that any Bahuri compound to which another, Samasanta Pratyaya has not been prescribed, that will take the Kap Pratyaha. We're going to look at this in detail in the next class. If you want, we can quickly look at the Sutram 5.4.154. This is one more way of spotting Bahuvrihis quickly. Yasmad Bahuvrihe Samasanto na vihitaha sasheshaha. So it is that from which Bahuvrihi, after which no other Samasanta Pratyaya has been prescribed. Tasmad Vibhasha Kap Pratyaya Bhavati. That's the meaning of this one. We'll come back to this Kap Pratyaya in maybe next class. So because that's going to be in the book. It's in the book on this page, I think in the prior page. In the prior page in Bahuvrihi, this one, this in book on this point number 199, number 9. All Bahuvrihis may take the Kap. Some take it necessarily, which is the 5.4, 151, 152, 153, and those ending with a comparative is never take it. Okay, just finishing that area, the Kap Pratyaha, is that then such Nishedha is some Bahuvris cannot take Kap. This is no. So Nishedha Sutrani. So the last 6 rules tell you when the Kap cannot be used. So these first 3 rules in which Kap has to be used. This 4th rule, which is the pivotal rule, this Kap may be used. And the last 6 say when the Kap cannot be used. Okay, we'll come back to that. So let's go this. Right now we are seeing how to form these compounds. detail about the samasantara we'll see in the next class. So, but still, the point should be noted that this cup is also a very, very, very important thing to be able to spot these compounds. Spot these compounds. Make a note over here that the cup pratyaya comes in very handy. Comes in very handy. The cup pratyaya. Pratyaya makes it easy. Makes it easy to spot a bahuvrihi. Of course, remember one thing that it should be a compound word. Okay, if you say a word like balakaha, then that is not a bahuvri compound, because there's other pratyas are there in tadita pratyaya, anya pisanti, which have the rubandha lope ka. Oh, one more thing, the lashakva tadite doesn't apply to kap, because this is tadita pratyaya. Remember, the samasantaha is within the adhikar of taditaha. So the lashakva atadite, so that kap, the kakara will not be an it. Only halantyam, the pakarasya itsanya, kakarasya itsanya na bhavati. Yatoyam, because this is a tadita pratyaya. But in any case, so look for this cup. If you see a compound ending in this ka, and try to test for bahuvrihi. So we are seeing these points today. We've seen these 4 points we just saw. Vigrahavakyam ashtavi yat padam, not ending in prathama, of course. The noun at the end loses its value as a noun, which is the very fundamental characteristic of this compound. And then there may be a gender change. It will not be always, but if the noun at the end and the term which is pradhanyam is different gender, you have a gender change. So this is an easy one if you can get it. And nishthantam padam, many times the nishthantam padam is the pura padam. And we also saw one more thing, is the kap pratyaya, which is the one that which if it's used at the end of the compound, many bahuvris have kap at the end. So okay, now let's look at these two vartikani. Let's go back to the book for a second and let's finish. Same thing is in the book. The same thing in the book, the scope of bahuvrihi. All forms of adjectival clauses. This means this clause is like, yes saha, yena saha, yes ma saha, can be transformed into bahuvrihi. I think there's a typo here, bahuvrihi. It's a Bengali book, I guess so. It's a bahuvrihi typo here, bahuvrihi. So saha gramaha, yam jalam praptam, prapta jalo gramaha. We just saw that same thing. It's a village to which the water has reached. So praptam jalam yam sahagramaha. So praptam jalam prathama in the compound, samadhikaranam, yam is yatpadam, not in prathama, and jalam has lost its gender, became prapta jalaha. Then sahabalaha yena aharaha bhuktaha, bhuktaharo balaha. Look at the nishthantam again coming in the pura padam. So all of these, prapta, bhukta, uparita, uddhrita, and let's see, sadeshaha, well, at least many of these, and shanta, a lot of these are looking in nishthantam padam, so you can see the taktabatu nishtha. So sahabalaha, so yena, so bhukta aharo yena sahabalakaha. Same thing is one by whom the food has been eaten. Now in this case there is no linga parivartanam because of the fact that aharaha and balaha are both masculine, so you didn't get that, but the other things are still there. You have the bhukta and aharaha in prathama, the other terms included in the compound, and then the yat padam is there in the vigrahavakyam, it's not in prathama, of course. So all the other things are still there, bhukta aharo, and of course you do the akasami dirgha. You have to sandhikaram, you have to do bhukta aharo balaha. So now the important thing here is that does the ahara has pradhanyam or not? You do not know unless you know the context. This could very easily have been a karmadharya compound. So nothing stopping that. Bhuktaschaso aharascha. It is food which has been eaten. But now it can go on and qualify something else and become bahuvri. So this is always going to be the decision point, is that Is this a Tatpurusha compound? Is this a Bahuvrihi? And the main thing to, of course, if you have a gender change, you got lucky, you can use that. If you got the Vigraha Vakyam, also you are done, of course, you can see the Yat Padam there and everything is easy. Now, you might have the Kap Pratyaya at the end, also makes it easy. But if there's no gender change, if there's, you don't have the Vigraha Vakyam, there's no Kap thing there, now you have to ask the fundamental question is, does the Uttara Padam, in this case, Aharaha, because no, Tatpurusha is Uttara Pradhanaha, Uttara Pada Pradhanaha. So Uttara Padam has Pradhanya. So does the compound, and this is where you have to make the final decision, is that does Aharaha, is that the term being conveyed by the entire compound or not? If it is not, it's going to be Bahuvri compound. If it is, then you talk of some variety of Tatpurusha you're talking about. So that is still holds. So if you have the easy way out, you see a gender change, or Vigraha Vakyam Yat Padam, or the Kap Pratyaya, that you are lucky. If you are not, you have to finally look at the context and see. There's nothing to stop this from being a Karmadharya compound. But you have to then ask, does Ahara Pradhanam or not? In the Bahuvri compound, and I'm saying this many times over, but that is, it is the crux of Bahuvri, is that the term which has Pradhanyam should not be in the compound. If it is in the compound in any way, shape or form, it is not a Bahuvri compound. Okay, but here the Balaha is not in any way, shape or form in the Binde, because Bhukta is not the Balaha. The boy is not eaten, the food has been eaten. So this Bhukta, you might think, well, Bhukta is in the compound. Can that qualify Balaha? No, because he's not eaten, the food has been eaten. So this Balaha should not be in the compound, in either an adjective form or in noun form, of course. Then you have to be Bahuvri compound. So should test all of these. So Bhukta Haro Balaha. And then same thing, Sadevaha, so Rudraha, Yasmai Ajaha Upahritaha. So he is the deity to God to whom a goat has been offered. So Upahrita Ajaha Devaha, nothing, all the same as before. Yat Padam, not in Prathama, the terms compounding are in Prathama in the Vigraha Vakyam, Ajaha Upahritaha. Normally you should put the adjective first. I don't know why in the book is done it backward like that. These are more standard here, which we saw over here. So this is the Upahritaha Pashul Yasmai, Upahritaha Balaha, Upahritaha Ajaha Yasmai. So you should put the adjective first. I don't know why in the book he's done it backwards like that. That I don't know. Now adjective should come before. And then Tadagaha, it is a pool of water. Yasma Shishu Udhritaha. It is a pool from which the boy has been taken out. I guess rescued. So Udhrita Shishu Tadagaha. Again, same thing here. This could have easily been a Karmadharya compound. Only from the context we know it's a Bahuvrihi compound. We're talking about the pool or the lake from which the child was rescued. It could have been rescued child. It could have been the lake from which child has been rescued. Now here we have no indications to make, unfortunately, to help us out, because Shishu is masculine, Tadaga is masculine. You know, there's no Kap Pratyaya, there's no Linga Parivartana. We have to go to the context and find out. Saha munihi yasya manaha shantam. So shantam manaha yasya. So shanta manaha. Now here we got lucky now, because we have the word manas, which is a napumsakalinga pratipadikam. But in the samastam padam we have the entire padam is pullinga shabdaha. Chandramasvat, like Vedas. So shanta manas. Comes in Gita. Dukheshvanu Dvignamanaha, Dukheshvanu Dvignamanaha, Sukhesh Vigataspruhaha, Vitaraga Bhayakrudasita, Stadhir Mudrichate. So Dukheshvanu Dvignamanaha, Anudvignam Manam. Sorry, Manaha, never become Manam. not Manam. Never say Manam, because Manas Pratipadikam. Anudvignam, but Manaha. Yasya Saha Yogi. So he is the Pajnaha. So it will be here, somewhere here. Dukheshvanu Dvignamanaha. Here it is. Anudvignamanaha. Same thing here. Same thing in the book right now. We have Shantamanaha. You can say Bhrantamanaha. So Yasaha Munihi Yasya. So Shantam manaha yasya shanta manaha munihi is because of the atvasantasya cha dhatu. This upada dirgha has come over here. That's I'm talking about. Anuji's favorite sutram, I think it is 6.4.14 or 15, 14. So that is now become, so this was easy to spot. So manas was a neuter noun, and now it has become a masculine compound, masculine compound. So shantamanaha munihi. Last one, sahadesha yasmin bahava viraha. So santi you don't need, so bahuviraha desha. So bhavaha viraha yasmin sahadesha. Here also we don't now. No, here also one thing you got a bit lucky here, because see bahuviraha should normally be plural. It's another way you can spot this one. So bahuviraha. So sorry, bahuviraha. If you're talking about a tatpurusha compound, a karmadharya compound is specific, it should have been bahuviraha. Bahuviraha. It become bahuviraha. So that's another way, by the way. So we found one more way, that if this should have been a dual or plural in number, we're seeing it singular. This also will indicate to us that that this is a bahuvri compound. So yes, here also you have got, if you look at it carefully, say it should be bahuviraha, become bahuviraha desha. The country in which there are many heroes. The usual way of expounding a bahuvri is as follows: Vyakulam manaha pita. So this is the way. Vyakulam manaha yasya. This saha is understood. Saha pita. This much is enough. Vyakulam manaha yasya. This much is enough. So he's one whose mind is disturbed. Vyakulam manaha. So vyakulam manas pratipadikam. So vyakulam manaha yasya saha pita. It's qualifying somebody else. He is a father whose mind is agitated, is disturbed. Okay, now we are going to look at these two Vartikani, and today I told you that the Sutram has some important, has I think 2 or 3, maybe even 4. Let's look at 1 or 2 today. It says that when the first, there are 2 of this, we are now in point number 202. When the first member, the same Sutram, Anekamanya Padartha, we'll talk about the Vartikam now. When the first member of a Bahuvri is a verb preceded by a preposition, it should be participle. Is a verb, is a verbal form, not verb. I think normally verb means tingantam padam. It should be krudantam, basically, participle. So I think put verbal participle, make it, not verb. It is not just a shuddha dhatu, it's not a tingantam padam, of course not. Tingantam na samasyate. So just in the book you can change this. Make it like a verbal derivative. What Panini calls, what Katyayana calls dhatuja. Dhatuja. Dhatuja means which has come from a verb. So this, please change this in the book. It should be a verbal derivative or simply a participle preceded by a preposition. This participle itself is optionally dropped. The preposition alone retained. So vigataha ragaha yasmat. From whom passion has departed. So vitaragaha or viragaha. From that comes vairagyam, of course. So you get these 2 forms. Okay, let's look at this Vartikam in Ashtadhyayi. So this Vartikam is the same Sutram, 2-24. The Vartikam says that Paradibhyo dhatu jasya vacho va chottarapada lopaha. So this dhatujam, which is a something which is born from a dhatu, which is derived from a dhatu, that can compound to form a bahuvri compound. It should be following a pradibhya dhatu jasya. So it should be a derivative. It should be a participle which is following a pradi, what we call the upasarga. It will be because it's in the Sarga Kriya Yoga. And then the Va Uttarapada Lopaha. So what this means is that Pura Padantar Gatasya Uttarapadasya Dhatujasya Lopo Vacha Ityartha. Now the compound itself is already authorized by Anekamanya Padarthe. So we can say, Vigataha, Vigato Ragaha Yasya Saha. That compound is the Samasa Vidhaka Sutram remains Anekamanya Padarthe. This Vartikam is only saying this part. Purapadantar gatasya, in the Purapadam, which is the Vigata, Uttarapadasya, so within the Purapadam, the Uttarapadam. Uttarapadam within the Purapadam. So Vigata, in Vigata, many forms of compound by Kugati Pradeha, Vigata. So the Vigata, the entire thing is the Purapadam and the Bahuvri compound. Within that Purapadam Vigata, the Uttarapadam of the Purapadam, which is the Gata. So Gata Padam Gatam. The Gata is gone. It is Lopo Vacha Ityartaha. So that means that's the only thing which what the Vartikam is doing, is telling you that the Purapadantar Gatasya Uttarapadasya Dhatujasya. It has to be a verbal derivative. Basically Krudantam Padam it has to be. Lopo Vacha. Let's take an example here. Prapatitani Parnani Yasya Saha. So it is a tree from which the leaves or whose, you can say yasya, I think yasma also might be work. So yasya, yasmat, both will work. So one whose leaves have completely fallen off, or one from whom the leaves have completely fallen off. So either way, I think in the book he has taken yasmat. So in the book he says the Vigataha Ragaha Yasmat. That's also possible. You can do it both ways. It will not make a difference anyway, because this doesn't figure in the final compound. So Prapatitani Parnani Yasya Saha. Prapatita Parnaha Praparnaha Vikshaha. So first you form Nitya Tatpurush Samasa Kugati Paradeha Prapatita. Form a Tatpurusha compound, Nitya Samasa Kugati Paradeha Prapatita. And then that Prapatita will go and form a Bahuvri compound. So Prapatitani Parnani Yasya Saha Vikshaha. Prapatita plus Jas, Parna plus Jas, Anekamanya Padarthe. And then same thing, Saptami Visheshane Bahuvrihau, and then we the entire Samudaya gets the Pradimidika Sanya, the Kriptajita Samasascha, Supo Dhatu Pradimidikayo Supluk, and we get Prapatita Parna. Now, at this point we need the Vartikam. If you want to get the form Praparnaha Vrikshaha, Praparno Vrikshaha, then we get the Pakshika Lopaha. Then the optional Lopaha by this Vartikam, it says Pradibhyo Dhatu Jasya Vacho Va Chottarapada Lopaha. So the Purapadantar Gatasya Uttarapadasya, Uttarapadam, which is a part of the Purapadam, Dhatu Jasya. This is the participle form, takes Lopaha. So this is a very, very important Vartikam. Like a word like Vidhava, Vigataha, Dhavaha, Yasyaha, Sa. So now we have to be a little bit careful, because we may have the we may just have the Tatpurusha compound by Kugati Pradeyaha. Okay, so or you may have Bahuvri compound by this Vartikam. You have to watch out now which one it is. Again, so the important thing is that look at what meaning it is conveying. Look at what meaning is conveying. Okay, so so you may have a Pradisamasa also. In fact, we're going to see. Let's look at some examples below. Appreciate what I'm saying, because this could be just a Pradisamasa. It could be a Bahu. So there is this little bit of an overlap here now. You see, between the Bahuvri compound and the Pradisamasa, there is a kind of a gray, not a gray area, but a little bit of an overlap coming here. But still remember, the most important fundamental principle is that for it to qualify as a Bahuvri, there should be nothing in the compound that directly points to the Pradhana Padam. Now, in this compound we had Prapatita and we had Parna. Nothing is pointing to the Vriksha. The tree is not fallen down, and the tree is of course not the leaves. So neither Prapatita nor Parna are pointing to the tree directly. Of course, Prapatita became Pra, but the Vartikam, that is fine. But this is not pointing to the tree. So that is always the acid test of Bahuvri. Is this Pra, which is short for Prapatita, or the Parna, directly talking about the tree? Answer is no. If that is the case, then Bahuvri compound. Now we're going to see an example below where the compound could be either a Bahuvrihi or a Pradisamasa, depending on which one you supply in between here. Because remember, now we are assuming his Patita is in between there. Now, because from Praparna, we don't know that which dhatu was used, which participle was dropped in there. So now, depending on which dhatu was used, it might start qualifying the vriksha directly now. It may, in certain cases. So now we could have a case by supplying a different dhatu, we can end up with a Pradisamasa. Different dhatu, we end up with a Bahuvri Samasa. We see example below. So now let's look at this. This is a very important Vartikam. Very important Vartikam says that Vigataha Dhavaha Patihi Yasya Sa Vidhava Nari. So one whose husband has departed. So she's a widow. So now here again the same thing is that the Vartikam allows us to drop this Gata. So Gata Padam Apagachati, the Gata goes away. So Vidhavana, of course, since it's qualifying the Nari now, we have to make it Striyam. Remember, I always say that you cannot use anything in the feminine. Nothing can be used in the feminine gender in this language until it's checked out. Until you have to go to building number 4, chapter 4, first floor, and you have to go to Adhikara Striyam. And there Ajadyata top. So top has to be put on top. The feminine, the pratyaya top has to be put on top. And there, of course, Chutu Halantyam Akasava Dirgaha. So Vidhava Nari. And then similar thing, Nirgataha Janaha Yasmat, Nirjanaha Pradeshaha. So this is a region or a place from which the people have left. So Nirgataha Janaha Yasmat Nirjanaha Pradeshaha. And then Nirgatam Phalam Yasmat, the Nishphalam Karma. Nishphalam. So Nirarthakam also you can say. Nirarthakam, how about that? Nirgataha Arthaha Yasmat Nirarthakam Vidam. So this is something useless, which has no use. So Nirarthakam. Of course, Nirarthakam you have the Kap Pratyaya at the end, which is, Anarthakam, Anarthakam is the next Vartikam, but Nirarthakam you can use. So now the only thing here is the Murdhanya Shakara Adesha. That's why Sutram Idudupadasya Cha Pratyasya. Idudupadasya Cha Pratyasya. Because here we have Nis or Nir followed by the Vartikam, the Gata was gone, and then we get the Sasajusho Ruho, Anubandha Lopaha, Karavasana Yor Visajaniyaha. And normally should have had the Kupoha Kashpaucha. Instead come this Vartikam, not Vartikam, the Sutram which says Idudupadasya Cha Pratyasya. If you have the Upadha as Id or Ud, short E or short U, Upadha. If you have Visarga preceded by short E or short U, and followed by a kar letter of the kavarga or pavarga, instead of getting the kupuha kafpaucha, we get the murdhanya shakara, like dushpurushaha, nishpapaha. All of these are like that. So you have to have the visarga preceded by short E or short 2, which is not coming from pratyaya. You say harihi karoti does not become harish karoti. You say ramaha pashyati, guruhu pashyati doesn't become gurush pashyati, because in this case of harihi and guruhu, that ending visarga was from the supratyaya, su. But it should not become apratyas. It should become from pratyaya. In this right now what we have is this nir or nis. It is not a pratyaya. It's a nipata. So this is not coming from a pratyaya. So they should not be from pratyaya. There should be a ka varga, pa varga. It must be a kar letter, because we only got the visarga based on the karavasana or visarjaniyaha. So basically ka, pa, pa should be following, preceded by the ikaraha or ukaraha. We get the murdhanya shakti. This is only sandhikaryam. Nothing to Bahuvri compounds, sandhikaryam, but we just look at this one. And this Kashika gives us which terms can give these conditions. And they are these. They are this nir, dur, bahir, avis, chatur and pradus. So these are the terms where the visarga is not pratyajanya, not coming from pratyaya, not pratyajaha. and it is preceded by ikara or ukara. Okay, like nishkritam, nishpitam, etc. So this is a very important vartikam. Look out for this one. So if you see a pradi at the beginning, also look for a possible bahuvri compound. If it's not pradi samasaha, it could be a bahuvri compound, like nishphalam. Then we got, so nirgatam phalam yasmat tad karma, that from which the fruit has departed. So basically it is without any result, no result, useless. So nirjanaha vidava. So now in one note over here is in compounds such as the three given above, the compact form is generally used. This idiomatic usage over here. So normally you will not say vigata dhava nari. Though grammatically vyakarana drishtya dosha nasti, tathapi I think it is the anabhidhanat. These terms are not, some of them idiomatically used only in the, normally you will not see nirgata phalam karma. You only say nishphalam. So this you have to watch out that these are to be used idiomatically, and you have to know that when some of these forms, only this compact form is to be used. So forms such as vigata dhava, though grammatically correct, are not very common at all. You have to keep that in mind. So one more time, this is a very important vartikam. It says that following a pradi, a participle term is there. That entire thing becomes the pura padam, and it compounds to make a bahuvri compound, which is nothing new. You can use anekam nipadarthe, but it gives the authority to do the pura padantargatasya uttarapadasya dhatujasya lopaha. Following the pradi, this participle form kudantam will take lopaha optionally. It gives very, very common bahuvri compounds, for bahuvri compounds. In fact, like in Gita, chapter 1, chapter 6, like anashritah karma phalang karyam karma karoti saha karoti yaha sanyasi cha yogi cha niragnirna chakriyaha niragnihi, right? So niragnihi, you can get nirgataha agnihi yasya, so yasmat saha niragnihi. So these are all of these. You can see that this is a bahuvri compound. So many of these are in Gita. This is you can spot these and see. You should have a pradi at the beginning. That's one important condition. If you see a pradi at the beginning and you see a bahuvri compound formation, then think about something in between which may have gone away. So okay. Now the next one is the like nispruha comes in Gita somewhere. So nirgata spruha yasmat saha. Now the word like nispruha, you can easily spot the bahuvri because spruha is a feminine noun. Nispruha, you saw the gender change, that easily points out. You can get lucky like that, So, okay, so this is one vartikam. The next vartikam is this one. Nayostirthanam vachova chotrapada lopa. Same thing here. It's giving the authority to make, to do lopaha, to remove the uttarapadam of the purapadam. So this is in the Tattvabodhini, Nanyaha. So following this Nyayi, negation particle, Paresham, Astirtha Vachina. It should be a term which in the sense of Vidyamana, present. Astirtha Vachina. Padantarena Bahuvrihir Vakheya. It can form Bahuvri compound. So this was not a special thing because this could have been done by Anekavanya Padarthe. But Astirthavachinam to lopaha ityartaha. The astirthavachi will take lopaha. So simple example, avidyamanaha putraha yasya. So putro avidyamano putro va. So that means that somebody whose son is not existing. Basically, he is someone who doesn't have a son, simply in English. So you can say aputraha. So So avidyamanaha putraha yasya so putraha athva avidyaman putraha. So one more time the Vartikam says nanyostyarthanam. So following this nai, which of course we've seen before, the sutra nai used to form the Purusha compounds like Abrahmana, etc. we saw before. So if you have a term in astyarthana, the sense of existing being present, like vidyamana, now a term which is used, they can go and form bahuri compounds, and that was fine because we could have used anekamanya padarthe, but then vacha uttarpada lopaha. So astirtha vachinam tu lopaha ityarthaha. So that term takes lopaha. So this is the important thing in this Vartikam, is that if you have a negation compound, a Nai Tatpurusha compound, which has only the Nai will remain, and the like anarthakam, avidyamanaha artha yasya tat anarthakam. So that is which is the something which is devoid, whose purpose is not present, means basically useless anarthakam. So let's go through the steps for this one quickly. So first you will form a Nai Tatpurusha, Nai Vidyamana Su, a Sutram Nai, and the usual Prathamanadishtam Samasa Prasajanam, because the Sutram is Nai itself. This Nai is Prathamanadishtam in the Samasa Vidhayaka Sutram. Then Upasajanam Purvam, and we get the Na Lopo Nanyaha. Of course, Halantyam first of all, Anubandha Lopaha. Then Na Lopo Nanyaha. We've seen this before, that the Nai loses the Nakara, becomes Avidyamana. So this is the Tatpurusha compound, Nai Tatpurusha compound. So Na Vidyamana, Avidyamana. Now this avidyamana, because Naiyo astyarthana, so we do have the Nai, and we do have astyarthakam padam, and that will now compound with another term, which is fine. We can use anekamanya padarthe. So avidyamanaha putraha yasya, avidyamana su putra su. So this anekamanya padarthe, we don't need the Vartikam as yet. Because we are fine with the anekamanya padarthe. This was this is the entire term is anya padarthe is qualifying the pita or somebody janaha, manushyaha, whatever you want to say. And we do have two terms which are samadhikaranam, and they are ending in prathamantam, and they are going to qualify something which is not in prathama. Yes, yasaha. So everything is fine so far. Then we can use the same sutram for the purvapataha, saptami visheshane bahuvrihav. So we got the visheshanam purvam, and then supluk as usual, the samudaya gets the pradipadika sanyakృత the samasascha supodhata pradvidika yoho. But now comes the need for the Vartikam. So we have to remove this vidyamana optionally. So avidyamana putraha atva aputraha by the Vartikam. These two, so vidyamana putra. So one more time, nanyostyarthana vacho vachotrapada lopaha is nanyaha. So following a nai, paresham. So following a nai, if you have astyartha vachinam, a term which signifies existence, being, and the term normally uses vidyamana, being, existing. Padantarena bahuvurihir vyakyayaha. They will come bahuri compound, but then astyartha vachinam to lopaha ityarthaha, and it is va lopaha va. So take some more examples. Avidyamano natho yasya anathaha. Avidyamano anatha, one who has no protector, basically one who is helpless, who has nobody to look after him. Anathaha. In India we have anatha ashram, right? Like we have these ashram for the for those kids who don't have any father, anatha ashrama. So they have nobody to look out for them. So anath avidyamanaha natha, yes saha. So one who has no guardian, and then avidyamano rogaha, yes saha arogaha. So here again only from the context you can see that this is a bahuri compound. This could also very well be arogaha, could just mean absence of disease, like abrahmanaha we saw. Now you can say Abrahmanam Kulam. Now you see the same compound Abrahmana, which we saw in the Tatpurusha compounds, can easily be converted to a Bahuvri compound. Abrahmana Gramaha, Abrahmano Gramaha. This is a village where there is no Brahmana present there. Abrahmanam Kulam is a family where there is no Brahmana. So you can easily change this compound. So both this one and the prior, you have to watch out and see the context only. So don't jump to a Bahuri meaning, of course not, because we have seen so many compounds which are just Nentatusha compounds. Like you say Adosha, simple compound, Adosha means no error. Lack means absence of error. But you can make it Adosham Vakyam. Same compound, you just twist it and make it adjectival to the Vakyam. Avidyamanaha doshaha yasya tad vakyam, we made it now. So this nine Tatpurushas, you can turn them around and make them Bahurihis. Of course, as I said, if you get lucky, you see Adosham in Prathama Ekvajanam, this change gender, it's Bahuri compound. So these are very powerful compounds, very important compounds, they occur a lot. And the tip-off is that you look at the name. So there are two possibilities. Just like we saw in the previous thing, when we saw this Pradibhyo Dhatu Jasya Lopaha, there we saw, if you see a Pradi at the beginning, and you see that the participle form has gone away, then you can try to look for a Pradi Samasaha or a Bahuvri Samasaha. And the same acid test there and here also. Which Padam has Pradhanyam? We say Adoshaha, the absence of Doshaha is not pointing to anything else outside, it's a Nendat Purusha. If you're talking about Adosham, Adosha Nari, somebody who has no defect, has no fault, then you're talking about the Nari now. So you're talking about to make it into a Bahuri compound. So here we had the overlap. We had an overlap here between the Pradi Samasa and Bahuri Samasa. Now we are seeing a bit of an overlap here between the Ninth Purusha and the Bahuri compound. But now this prior overlap was even more complicated, because we're going to see an example now. We just saw one right now. Niragnihi. The Niragni in chapter 6 of Gita, first shloka. In fact, you should remember the shloka of Gita. Chapter 6, first shloka. Is anashitah karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha niragni na chatriyaha. The same word niragni in the same meaning can be explained as a Pradi Samasaha or Bahuri Samasa. Now that is even more complicated. In this one down here, you're talking about the so-called overlap. I shouldn't even say overlap. The form is the same, but there is no overlap in the same meaning. Adoshaha, when you say lack of defect, we say Abrahmanaha, not Abrahmanaha. In that meaning, we are not talking about Bahubari compound meaning at all. So we are saying, when you say Abrahmanam Kulam, it is not going to be Nentat Purusha, Bahubari. You say Abrahmanaha, when somebody is not a Brahmanaha, it's not Bahubari compound. It is only Nentat Purusha. But in this overlap here between the Pradi and the Bahuvrihi, you can have the same word in the same meaning, which can be explained in two ways. Okay, let's go. I think there's an example coming down here. Let's follow through that. Anyway, so both these are very, very important. Anekamanya Padarte have these two very important. There's a third Vartikam coming. That's going to come in the book, I think, on the... it's going to come in the book on point number 205 in the first one. There's a third Vartikam here. Also a very important Vartikam. What is called the Ushtra-mukhaha. But we'll see that later, not today, later class. Because he's put different. It's just point number 205. There is a third, and all these three are very important. This one, which is we saw today, which is the Pradibhyo Dhatu Jasya Vacho Vachotra Pada Lopaha. This one. And the example Praparanaha we saw, Vidhava example we saw. Second Vartikam we saw today is the Nanyostirthana Vacho Vachotra Pada Lopaha. Second Vartikam, we'll see a third one in other thing. These are very important. Now let us okay, let's complete the book point in the book here because we only 20 minutes left now. Okay, now what he concludes this book here. Okay, let's just look at this point. When a negative particle, we already saw this one here, viragaha we saw. A negative particle, basically it's nyai, not its akar, because nalopo nahi hai. Of course, if you have ajadi uttara padam, you have to make the tasma nudachi, anarthakam. Anarthakam, there you have to make it nalopo nahi hai, followed by tasma nudachi. So avidyamana artha yasya anudakam. Anudakaha gramaha. You can make all these compounds, Anudako gramaha. So avidyamanam udakam. Yasmin saha gramaha. It is a village in which there is no water. It is out of water. So anudako gramaha. So in these cases, of course, you have to use tasma nudachi. Tasma nudachi. So even though it's saying in the book you can change it, make it nai, which can either become nalopo naiha, or if it's ajadi uttar padam, you have to use the, in addition to that, you have to use the tasma nudachi, make it an basically. So negative particle nai with the verb meaning to be, not a, I don't know why he says verb. I mean, what he means is that it's also be a participle form. Participle form of a verb. Because you cannot compound a verb. To be is the first member of a bahuvrihi, then the participle, the nai is alone is often retained. So that is the swartikam here. Astirthanam vacho lopaha. So astirtha vachinam to lopaha tirthaha. So he has given an example in the book which is similar. Avidyamanam malam. Yes, Avidyamana malaha or amalaha. Very common, amalaha, right? Very simple compound. So like anagha, some girls have named anagha, right? Anagha. So avidyamanam agham. I don't know, agha is neutral or masculine, I don't know. Anyway, in anagha, we have to use the tap, ajadyata tap. So avidyamanam anagha. These are very, very common compounds. Very, very common compounds. In fact, talking about, I always joke about this confusion between Tatpurushas and Bahuvrihis. Look at my own name. It's a joke which I've used before. I'm sorry, repeated. But since today's topic is Bahuvri compounds, look at my own name, Satisha. Okay, let's first see what the Agha. Okay, Agha might be neuter or masculine. Okay, it's neuter. So avidyamanam agham yasyaha sa. Make it anagha. Anagha. Comes in Lalita says anagha adbhuta charitra, right? Vanchitata pradaini. Anagha. So these are very, very important compounds. There are a number of examples in all of places like that. Just say like Anishwara. How about that? Anishwaraha. Now this might look like a very bad name, doesn't it? Anishwaraha. Now, you can say, hey, you are something which you are not a Ishvara. It could be as a Naitya compound. But avidyamanaha Ishvara yasaha. So one who has nobody to rule over him, Anishaha. In fact, I think even some women have name Anisha. So she has nobody to, Isha has one who rules. So one who has nobody to rule over him. So the same word can be turned around. Like take my own name, Satishaha. Normally it is Satyaha Ishaha. Shankaraha, Shiva. So one who is the consort of Sati, Parvati. Satyaha Isha. But it's not Sadishaha, by the way. So it's not Sat Sanchasau Ishashti. It is not that meaning. It is not a good Isha. Because it becomes Sadishaha otherwise. So you have to Jalam Yashonte. So this has to be Satyaha Ishvara. So Sati plus Nyas, Ishvara plus Su form Shashti Tatpurusha compound. But you can make it a Bahuvri. You can make Sati Isha Yasya Saha. So one who's ruled by Sati. Make that. In fact, the joke I make is that, and excuse me for the joke, is that after marrying, I found out this is a Bahuvri compound. Before marriage, it was a Tatpurusha compound. After marriage, it became a Bahuvri compound. Because Tatpurusha compound says, you are the master of Sati, Satyaha Isha. But you can, if you make it Bahuvrihi, Sati becomes the mistress and you become the, so it becomes Bahuvri compound. So this is how large Bahuvri is. You have to be very careful that only the context can tell you that whether this is a Bahuvri Tatpurusha compound. You have to drill down to the meaning. Who is it qualifying? Who is it qualifying? Tatpurusha compound, or is it going to be a Bahuvri compound? So let's complete this point in the book. It says when the negative particle nyai is not with, don't put verb, I think with the verbal participle form. So like we say the vidyamana basically, in the sense of to be. Is the first member of the Bahuvri is retained, option retained. So amalaha, anagha, anarthakaha, all like that. Okay, now anudakaha. From what, this is important thing, he concludes the book here, from what precedes, one should have a clear understanding, difference between a Bahuvrihi on the one hand and Karmadharya, Paradi, Nyantatpurusha on the other. In the latter, means in these, Tatpurusha compound. These are Tatpurusha compound, but don't forget that the Tatpurusha includes the Nyantatpurusha, the Paradi Samasa, Karmadharya. They're all subsets, Tatpurusha Bheraha. So again, back to the same thing. We have to make a distinction between the Tatpurusha and the Bahuvri. In fact, that I would say is the most tricky part of compounds. Because Dvandvas are easy to spot. We're going to study Avyabhavas in one of the future lessons, easy to spot. So those are easy. And within Tatpurusha, and when you come into the Tatpurusha territory, you have to, Samasa territory, you have to, these are the 5 main samas. You can have Avyabhava Samasa, easy to spot, it creates an Avyam. Avyabhava creates an Avyam most of the time. So you can find. That's the definition of Avyabhava. Anavyam Avyam Bhavati. Anavyam Avyam Bhavati. If you're not Avyam, becomes Avyam. So that's easy to spot. Dvandva is easy to spot. Now, Tatpurusha and Bahuvrihi is where you get stuck. So that is why this is a very, very central important topic. And remember, the simple thing is that which padam has pradhanya. That you have to always ask. Because this is the most sticky point in compounds with Tatpurusha and Bahuvrihi. And the same word, of course, can be either, depending on the context. In fact, there are some cases when the same word can be either, even in the same meaning. So let's see what he said. In the latter, the noun standing as the second member, it is noun value. So but the pradhanyam is for the uttara padam. Basically what he's saying is that it's uttara pada pradhanaha, tatpurusha. So mahabaho, this is a big arm. So mahanshchasau, bahushcha, big arm. So pracharya. Now look at this one carefully now. Pracharya. Pragataha acharya. Acharya has pradhanyam. But now, how about this one? He's given only the prathama. We have seen all those vartikani on the Kugati Pradaya, right? How about this one? Atikrantaha malam, atimalaha. Now wait a minute now. Now this is where the confusion starts coming in now. Because the word mala does not have pradhanya. It is the one who has gone beyond the mala in terms of his attractiveness or whatever it might be. So now, but is it a Bahuvri now? Because if you just look at this definition here, the noun standing as second member is noun value. But in Atimalaha, it is not the Pradhana Padam, is not the Mala. But it is not Bahuvri compound either. Because the word Atikrantaha is in there. Atimalaha is a short form of Atikrantaha. Atikrantaha Malam. And that Atikrantaha is directly an adjective for the person. So that is why the Atimalaha is not a Bahuvri compound. One more time, this Atimalaha is not a Bahuvri compound because it says that. Now, thing is that can we somehow make it a Bahuvri by supplying a different participle in there? Maybe it's going to be difficult in this case. Ati generally means going beyond. Going beyond. It is not going to qualify the Mala. It's going to qualify the person. So this pradi, this ati, has such a powerful force of to transgress or go beyond. So it's going to be difficult to come up with a different participle between here and make it a Bahuvri. So this is going to be, unless you really use some verb which is going to turn the meaning of ati different way. But it is now going to be a, so there here also in ati malaha the mala does not have pradhanya, but the ati is atikrantaha, and that is a term in the compound directly qualifying the person. So this is not a bahuri compound, atimala. This is the most tricky part, this overlap, the pradi and the bahuri. In the book, he's keeping easy for us in the book right now. He's not talking about atimalaha. We're talking pracharya. This is straightforward. Pragata acharya, pracharya. So acharya has pradhanyam, and that is done. Now he says, now the next page looks at, says that, okay, expert master, headmaster, pracharya. Apanthaha, no road. Could be also the wrong road. Be wrong road, apanthaha. Could be a small road. Still talking about the road only. You're not talking about a village that has no roads. Something like that. So he's still, the pradhanyam is with the, in some kind of a road. It's either the absence of the road, or like a very small road, or a kutsita pantha, so you can say a bad road. Still talking about the road, not talking about a village or a place or whatever that doesn't have a road. But this is a tatpurusha compound. The bahuvri, on the contrary, the noun standing as second member totally loses its value. So mahabahu viraha, mahanto bahu yasya saha. In hero with big arm. So now that bahu is no longer pradhanyam. Nirashaha janaha. Okay, this is the example which I would like to discuss for a second. Nirashaha janaha, desperate person. Okay, now this can be explained in two ways. Nirgata asha yasya atva yasmat saha. Bahuvrihi. Nirgataha. So one whose hope has gone. He is kind of despondent, he has no hope. Nirasha jana, desperate person. But the same compound can be a pradisamasa. Ashayaha nishkrantaha. Nishkrantaha ashayaha. So the same compound in the same meaning. It can be made of pradisamasa by using a different participle in between. See, in the case of the bahuvri, we are using this vartikam. We are using this vartikam, which is the, we just saw that, which is the, this one which we just saw. The pradibhyo jatu dhatu jasya vachi vachuttar lopaha. So when we say this nirgata asha, we use this vartikam, with the gata gone, we begin nirashaha. Now nirashaha, now unfortunately in this case what we're having is that we are seeing a gender change. We're seeing a gender change. But that, see, this is the overlap between bahuvris and gati samasas. Sorry, in pradi samasas. So in pradi samasa also we can have a gender change. We can have a gender change because of, we saw this example, which is the sutram in the pradi samas. We can look at this one, nirashaha. We have a gender change. Nirgata asha yasya yasma. But we can have a gender change also in the pradi samasa. Nishkranta ashayaha. So we have seen the sutram, which when we did the, in fact that time we talked about coming back to when we do bahuvri compounds, is that the when we got the upasajana sanya, because eka vibhakti chapuru nipate. So when we looked at the pradi samasa, we can just go back in the document here. Look at 1 to 44 just for 1 second. I know we are kind of out of time right now, but let me refresh your memory with the Sutram 1 to 44. It says that when we saw this word pippali, so when we saw this chapurnipate, says that vigrahe yan niyata vibhaktikam, in the vigraha vakyam, when a term changes the vibhakti, doesn't change vibhakti, while the other one keeps on changing. Yan niyate vibhaktikam tadupasajanam sanyam syat natu tasya purnipataha. So in atimalaha, when we did that, if you recall atimalaha, let's go back to yourself for a second. It said the vartikam that we used was that atyadayaha kranta dhyarthe dvitiyaya atikrantaha malam atimalaha. So gender change here. So now we get the, of course we got the Paravalingam was bypassed by this Vartikam at that time, and then we got ati plus mala plus Now when we make it, we say atikrantaha malaha, atikrantam, atikrantaha malam, atikrantam malam. So malam atikrantena malam. No matter what you atikranta, malam stays as malam. Atikrantaya malam. Then so on and so forth. Atikrantad malam. So now in the Vigraha Vakyam, when you change the vibhakti of the entire padam, the malam stays as malam. So that is what is called, is that this sutra, which is eka vibhakti cha purnipate. That gets upasajana sanya. So mala gets upasajana sanya. But that upasajana sanya cannot be used for purnipataha. It can only be used for doing the rasvadesha by gosthiyor upasajanasya. So we do get a linga parivartanam. We get basically it gets the rasvadesha at the end. Rasvadesha at the end by the same sutra. So this is the confusing part, is that this term, which is nirashaha, you have asha becoming ashaha. It is qualifying janaha. But the same thing could be a paradi samasa. You can nishkrantaha ashayaha, one who has gone beyond hope. He has no hope. So gone out of hope. So that also, so you have to watch out for these. Watch out for these where there is an overlap, where the paradi is being used, depending on the participle you supply. That paradi along with that participle can directly qualify the pradhana padam, or it may not. It might qualify the uttara padam in the compound. That's the distinction. You say nirgata asha yasya atva yasmat saha. That nirgata is qualifying only the asha, not the janaha. Make it nishkrantaha ashayaha. Nishkranta is qualifying jana directly. So nishkrantaha ashayaha nirashaha pradi samasaha. Nishkranta is qualifying the jana directly. So nirgata asha yasya saha. Then in that case nirgata with a different participle, this remains the same. But you don't know because of this vartikam that gata will be gone. So nirgata asha, that nirgata is qualifying only the asha. Then we cannot, that will be a Bahuvri compound. Now, and it says, apataha desha, roadless country. Roadless country. So now, same thing, this nahi samasaha, either be Tatpurusha compound, could be a Bahuvri compound also. Now, I know time is up right now. We will, okay, we have 2-3 minutes. All right, I don't want to rush at the end. But next time, we will continue with this point. We'll again hammer this point in, of this overlap between the Paradi Samasa and Bahuvri Samasa, and the overlap between the Naitat Purushaha and the Bahuvri Samasa. So let me just read through this and we'll stop and we will come back next time. So what I put in the document here, which we'll go to next time again, is this point number 202, which says that okay, let's take for homework because time is up now. Okay, so let's take for homework. If you want to go back, and I just did a copy paste from prior class. Just for homework, if you can again refresh your memory about the apatham and apanthaha, which we have already done when we did Tatpurusha compounds. We got the two forms, apatham, apanthaha. So patho vibhasha, samasantam we did that time. Nai purvat patho va samasantaha. Patham apanthaha we derived in a prior class, because he's talking about this compound apanthaha. We just dwelt on the apanthaha. So I want to just one more time refresh our memory on that one. Apanthaha is also a secondary form apatham, vibhasha, patho vibhasha. From patho vibhasha we got for apatham apanthaha, and then that's for Tatpurusha compound. And then we come but in the Bahuvri compound, we have apatha as an adjective. So in fact says Tatpurusha ityeva. Only Tatpurusha compound only will take that optionally. So, but in Bahuvri only apataha desha. In fact that time we talked about this apataha being apataha desha When we come to Bahuvri Kamp, we look at it again. So we please look at this form Apantaha Apatham as the Purusha compounds, and then we look at Apatha as a Bahuvrihi. The Nirasha, we just talked about that. It can be a Pradi Samasaha, which is Nishkrantaha Ashayaha, Gugati Pradeha, Vartikam Niradeha, Kranta Jyate Panchamya, or it can be Bahuvri Samasaha, Dirgata Asha Yasmat Yasya Sahavada Svartikam. In either case, you have to do the Rasva Deshadya with the same sutra. Okay, let's stop with that. We'll again revise this, revisit this. This is a very, very important point, this 202, which talks about this overlap between Tatpurusha and Bahuvri. The Pradi Samasa Bahuvri, then Tatpurusha and Bahuvri. Okay, after that in the next class, we'll then, after we finish this, we just brush up this point, we'll go back to the beginning of the lesson because we skipped that part because we first, so we will come back here. Look at the Samas Anta Prakaranam for Bahuvrihis. So we look at, this is the Purapadakariyam. We look at 6346, 54113, because this, if you want to just quickly gloss through this, browse this Adhikaraha, Samasantaha, in that Bahuvriho starts from 113, 54113, Bahuvriho. So from this you can just browse. We're going to see 54113, 54115, 54122, 54124. We will see also 54132. We see 54135, 137, 138, 140. Also this we'll do some Vibhakti Karyam 64130. That's nothing new. Then we look at the Kap Pratyaya we talked about today, 54151, 154, 156, and then if we have time, we will spend some time on the Sutram 6334. It's a bit of a mess. Sutram 6334 is going to take us some time. If you have time next class, or what is the class after, we'll talk about the Sutram 6334. So if you want to also revise that one for homework, Striyaha Pumvad Bhashita Pumsakadanung Samana Adhikarane Striyam Purni Priyadishu. This is the Pumvad Bhavaha. Pumvad Bhavaha. So let's stop with that. So 6334, if you can also look at the next class. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bhiyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Rama Nasti Paranam Parataram Ramasya Daso Smyaham Rame Chittare Sada Bhautame Bho Rama Mamudhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattuliyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana. Kalpesh, are you there? Let me stop recording.
Yes, I just came back. Yes, recording is stopped. Thanks.